Anyone who has had an illness or been affected by illness in their family understands the value of physicians. Because of how valuable physician services are, it can be difficult to determine an appropriate cost. This is government's responsibility. It has to manage healthcare spending. Our audit looked at the oversight of physician services. As the nonpartisan independent auditor of the Legislative Assembly, the Auditor General audits the government reporting entity. This consists of ministries, crown corporations, and other government organizations such as universities, colleges, school districts, health authorities, and similar organizations that are controlled by or accountable to the provincial government. The Office of the Auditor General serves the people of British Columbia and their elected representatives by conducting independent audits and advising on how well government is managing its responsibilities and resources. Under the Auditor General Act, the Auditor General conducts and reports on both financial audits and performance or value for money audits. The cost of paying for physician services is quite high. In 2011-12, British Columbia paid its 10,346 physicians over $3.6 billion, approximately 9% of the entire provincial budget. Almost all BC physicians receive their income from public healthcare dollars. Given the limited amount of funding available for healthcare and government's duty to protect and enhance the healthcare system, government must make evidence-based funding decisions. To be successful, government must also understand and ensure that all healthcare services, including those provided by physicians, are high quality and offer good value for the money spent. The purpose of this audit was to examine whether the Ministry of Health, the 6 health authorities, and the Medical Services Commission are ensuring that physician services are achieving value for money. We examined the oversight of the quality and cost-effectiveness of services provided under the fee-for-service and alternative payment program models, the 2 largest physician funding models in BC. This audit focused on the quality and cost-effectiveness of physician services and not the overall healthcare system. We concluded that government does not know if physician services are high quality or if they offer good value for the money spent. This is because government cannot demonstrate that physician services are high quality, nor can it demonstrate that compensation for physician services is cost-effective. This is also because systemic barriers in the province's healthcare system are hampering government's ability to achieve value for money with physician services. Our findings call into question government's ability to make informed decisions regarding physician services. Government does not have a consistent overall system for assessing and managing physician performance. For example, health authorities grant privileges to physicians annually to permit them to practice in their facilities, such as a hospital. However, performance reviews are not done consistently as a condition for privilege reappointment. This means that government does not know what quality of services is being provided by individual physicians and whether it is getting the quality it expects for the money spent. We also found that entities work in silos and have different opinions regarding who is and who should be responsible for the oversight of physician services. This is resulting in the gaps in the oversight. Government is also unable to demonstrate that compensation for physician services is offering the best value because it has not defined what value or cost-effective means as it relates to physician services. In addition, government's current physician compensation models and processes limit its ability to ensure value for money. This is specifically a concern given that the Minister of Health is accountable for ensuring the best possible value for taxpayers. Government has 2 main models to pay physicians, fee-for-service and the alternative payment program. Both models are common throughout Canada and internationally. The majority of BC's physicians receive funding through fee-for-service. Although this model encourages providing a high volume of services, which increases access, fees are not linked to patient outcomes, and there is a potential incentive to provide services that are not necessary and/or most appropriate based on patient needs. We were unable to determine if this is an issue because information on appropriateness of services is not collected consistently. We also found that government is not regularly reviewing existing fee-for-service fee codes to ensure that the fees are appropriately matched with the service provided, with the exception of laboratory fees. Technological advances can decrease the complexity and the amount of time needed to provide a service, thereby making an expensive fee less appropriate. Alternative Payment Program, on the other hand, pays for a range of services through contracts, standard rates for half-day services, or by fixed compensation. Alternative Payment Program was specifically put in place to support physicians seeing patients who require more clinical time. We found that government is not reviewing or adjusting Alternative Payment Program contracts to ensure they are cost-effective. Half of the Alternative Payment Program contracts we reviewed exceeded agreed-upon compensation ranges or were so unclear we could not reach a conclusion. The report also identifies several systemic barriers that make it challenging for government to ensure quality and cost-effective physician services. These include the fact that the data needed to access the quality of physician services at the individual level is either not available or is fragmented, the fact that aspects of work culture are impeding constructive engagement with physicians, and that current legislation is not adequately supporting entities overseeing physician services. Some of the issues in our report were identified by Dr. Douglas Cochran in his 2011 investigation regarding the quality of the interpretation of CT scans and obstetrical ultrasound readings in the province. Government has taken steps to address some of the issues Dr. Cochran identified. However, progress has been slow and significant work is still needed. Government must continue to resolve these barriers to ensure its effective oversight of physician services. This report makes a total of 6 overarching recommendations with multiple points under some. Please see the report for a complete list of all recommendations. In general, Recommendations 1 and 2 propose the need for improvements with respect to performance management for physicians, as well as clarification of roles, responsibilities, and accountabilities. Recommendations 3 and 4 propose improvements related to current physician compensation models. Recommendation 5 proposes government identify and address work environment barriers to physician engagement. And Recommendation 6 proposes improvements that are necessary with respect to the legislative and regulatory framework governing physician services in BC. This concludes our summary of the Oversight of Physician Services report. To read this report and our other publications, or for more information about our office, please visit our website at www.bcauditor.com. The Office of the Auditor General encourages your feedback on this report as well as your suggestions for future audits. We look forward to hearing from you.